Good morning all. In this session we shall discuss about design of T-beam bridge, that is the superstructure. So basically we all know that a bridge is a structure which provides a passage over an obstacle without closing the way beneath. So the importance of bridges, it plays a vital role in establishment of cities along the riverside, and it improves the economical development of the area, provides good transportation systems for the goods and services, also adds to the aesthetics of the cities. The main components of the bridge is a superstructure, substructure and the foundation. Basically, Indian Road Congress gives a guideline, that is how it has to be designed. So, what should be the width of the carriageway? Which depends upon the traffic of volume of traffic, how many lanes should be provided, the footpath width, the divider provision, whether it is mandatory for all those things has to be considered while designing the bridge. And considering the economy, RCC TBM bridge is more economical for spans up to 25 meters. Also lesser the number of piers, more economy is the structure, and there will be less obstruction to the waterway. So cross girders are also provided for better transverse distribution of loads and to all the longitudinal girders that are present. So the loads that should be considered in the design are the dead loads or the superimposed load, the live load from the vehicles with impact, the wind load. These are the basic loads that should be considered in your design. Apart from that, seismic load also should be considered, especially in areas where the bridge is in the seismic zone, and if the bridge length is lesser than 60 meter, it can be ignored. So the live load includes the IRC class A vehicle, that is a compact tank, IRC class A loading, B loading and 70R loading. So 70R is similar to class AA loading, and wind load is considered as per IS 875 part 3. In the analysis and design part, first the deck slab is designed, then the longitudinal girders, then the cross girder. So the method used for deck slab analysis is the Pigot's method, and for the longitudinal girder analysis we use the carbon method, Henry-Jacob method or modified carbon method or the Gessenit method. The span has been derived from alignment survey of the bridge, and it has to be ascertained to the desired length. So it will be designed either for two-way traffic with a width of 3.75 meters each lane. So the footpath will be a minimum of 750 mm on either side. And using the Pigot's method, this method is used to analyze the deck slab of the T-beam bridge as recommended by IRC 112. So the elastic analysis is preferred over plastic analysis as suggested by different codes. So in this we get the shorter span moment as well as the longer span moment coefficient, and substituting these coefficients in the formula, we are going to get the long span moment and short span moment. And in the Carbon's method, there is a ratio of span to length that should be considered. The cross girder should be given, and its depth should be at least 0.7 times that of the longitudinal girders. So the factor value in Carbon method is given by this expression, and the respective values can be substituted and the reaction factors can be found out. In the Henry-Jacob method, it is done by analysis of the longitudinal girders is done by rational method. This method replaces the transverse girders to equivalently stiff transverse medium, and this method is based on the ratio of span to spacing and flexural rigidities of longitudinal and transverse girders as well as its torsional rigidities. Then the modified Carbon version, ratio of span to length will be same thing, that is 2 to 4. The cross girders will be given to a depth of at least 0.7 times. The combined method of grillage method with Carbon method is considered here.